Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. And today we're going to talk about shadow work versus manifestation and why they are not in opposition, but why they are part of the same healing process. Okay, shadow work always comes before manifestation work. Does everybody need to do shadow work? No. Does anybody with trauma need to do shadow work? Yes. Okay, so why are there people out there who say, like, I want to manifest health and healing. I want to manifest a healthy relationship, an amazing life, a great career, like all the things I want. I'm trying to manifest that. I think about it. I affirm what I want. I put myself in the state of that wish fulfilled, and I just get it. And then there are other people who are suffering and sick and so far away. The gap between where they are and what they want is really wide and really long. Well, it's usually because of some sort of trauma. It's usually because of some sort of experience or lived event that create deep beliefs in yourself that you are not worthy to just have that. Or for some reason, you're not capable of just having that thing that you want, that health, that amazing dream life. So there's a lot of people who be like, I want success, I want health, I want this, and they put all their effort into manifestation and they get it. And that's because the stories and the beliefs that they start from is not that far from where they want to go. It's conceivable to them that they can have the person of their dreams, that they can have the career that they want, that they can have the health that they want, because they didn't grow up or they didn't spend most of their life with a story that's in opposition to that. They experienced love as a child. They've had healthy relationships. They've had abundant health. They've had great things in their life. So the story of what they want, which is farther than what they have right now, is not that far of a stretch in their imagination for them to believe that they have access to it, that they can have it. So it's about belief. It's like, if you come from a great foundation, if you've come from good health, if you've come from a good education, a good home, a good family, good relationships, if you've had opportunities, if you've seen things, if you've had reason to believe in your life that it's available to you what you want, the great love story or the $1 million or the fit, healthiest body that you can imagine. If you have reason to believe in your past that that's possible for you, based on what you've already experienced, the stories that you hold in your mind and the beliefs that you hold in your heart, then when you put your focus on affirmation and continuing to live in that wish fulfilled, right, the end state of what it is exactly that you want, it's much easier to call into being, right? The gap in your mind of belief, not of where you are and what you want, but the gap of belief, of you being able to become that person in your mind, is not that far-fetched based on where you've been and your experiences that you've had up to date. So that's the difference. Somebody who has a huge gap because they've come from an abusive family or they've come from an extremely traumatic story about health or about money or about relationships or love, that person is going to have a harder time believing that what they want is possible for them. And that's where the work is. The work's always in the gap, right? In the belief of your new story, that you are that person, that you can become that person. And that's where the work is. And so, yes, sometimes you can do affirmations, more affirmations than the other person. And affirmations, FYI, is just thinking. You are already thinking all day long anyways. You get up, you always have thoughts filling your head. So affirming is just choosing to think positively about the thing that you want. Affirmations aren't something where you just say something over and over and over and there's some sort of magic formula that suddenly makes it true. No, affirmations is just choosing to change your thinking in such a way that you're affirming the story you want enough times that you actually change who you are, enough times that you actually believe it. So affirmations isn't some sort of a weird technique, a magical technique that leads to manifestations. Affirmations are basically choosing your thoughts that affirm the story you want over and over. That's why people have to affirm it over and over, because their gap is large and they don't yet believe it. So affirmations and the consistency of doing your affirmations, affirming what you want, affirming the story that you want, you have to do enough times until you believe that it is possible for you, not only to have that, but to become that version of yourself now. So affirmations are just thinking, which you do already anyways. You already have thoughts. You already have beliefs. And so the technique of affirming is simply just to get you to change your thoughts enough so that you begin to have new beliefs, new real beliefs about yourself, a new story about yourself that feels true, right? Okay, so people who have a lot of trauma or who have experienced complete hardship in one area or are struggling, suffering, cannot find the way out, these people have beliefs that they will not heal, that they cannot get it, that this is too far out of reach for them. And that's what manifestation or affirmations change. It's like we're trying to change that story. We're trying to change that belief. So by saying affirmations all day long, you're really just trying to redirect your thinking so that ultimately you can believe that you can heal, that you can have the relationship, that you can have the life that you want. So why do I say shadow work comes before this? Because some people don't want to just change their thinking from this negative to positive. And some people just can't do it. No matter how many times they affirm something or try to redirect the thoughts in their mind, the stories in their mind, to a new belief about themselves. No matter how many times they redirect their thinking, they can't get to the belief level because they haven't fully talked about it. They haven't fully understood what happened. They haven't fully been witnessed. They haven't fully felt the feelings. They haven't fully grieved. And we're going to talk about grief because grief is really important to healing trauma. You want to grieve not only what happened to you, not only the experiences that happened to you, the traumatic events and the things in your life, but grieve the trauma itself. Grieve the fact that you have trauma. Grieve the fact that everything that you've lost in your life because of it, and that you want to grieve and forgive yourself and learn how to re-love yourself, because if this didn't happen to you or you didn't have this trauma, you could have had a completely different life and been a completely different person. And so changing your thoughts towards that person now is what you want, but there's a big gap there because you need to grieve the fact that you didn't do it until up to now, that you've lived this life that you didn't want to because you didn't know how to change it. And that's a big grief. And some of you, because of the traumas that you've experienced, have put aspects of yourself into your shadow that you don't even know you have and that you can't access because your protector parts are too strong. There are parts protecting you so that you stay safe, and you can't access the parts that you need to create this amazing new life, to create health, to create the belief that you are healed, because there's a protector standing in the way of that vulnerable person, of, right, the person who can come out and be that person. And so sometimes, particularly if you've had a really, really hard challenge around health or money or relationships or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, and of course it's health if you're on this channel, then you need to do shadow work first. You need to do shadow work so that you can integrate yourself back together, so that those parts of yourself necessary to believe that you can be healed and be that new healed version of yourself that has the qualities and is living the dream life that you want can come back out to the table. So that when you do your manifestations now, and when you continue to do affirmations, which is a redirection of your thoughts, so that you cement in this new belief and you can become that person, you are able to become the full version of you, because you're able to be all of yourself. All of yourself can come to the table now, right? Because parts of yourself aren't being locked away in the subconscious. You are able to bring your whole being, and with that being, with that new being who's unlocked and free and able, then you are able to redirect your thinking more easily, so that you can now access the part of yourself that can truly believe that you can become that person. And when you can believe it, you can feel it. And when you can feel it, then you just have to hold that state and you can become it. And so that's why manifestation always follows. It always seems to be the last step in the process. It's becoming, literally becoming the person that you want through holding attention on what it is that you want, who it is that you believe yourself to now be. So why can't some of us just jump straight to manifestation? Because there's a lot of beliefs, difficult beliefs, challenging beliefs, and traumas that need to be seen, that need to be felt, that need to be heard. And this deep work of integrating, of seeing, of feeling, and of grieving your loss and feeling like you have been seen, heard, and witnessed, and you complete the grieving process, then you're free to let the part back out that has access to joy, that has access to creativity and love and all the qualities that you need, right? Vitality, abundance. This is how and when you're going to create health. But when those pieces of yourself, when you can't access them, then you know you need to do shadow work first. So if you've been doing manifestation for a long, long time and you just simply cannot become that version of yourself, it's because you need to do the deeper healing work first. And manifestation is easy for some people to jump to because the gap isn't as big from where they started, right? And from what it is in the belief in their mind of what they want and what they are trying to get, right? And where they are now. So both of these processes are important on your healing journey, but one comes before the other, not always. But in the case of beliefs that need to be changed and traumas that are preventing you from changing them. So shadow work and deep healing must always precede the inevitable manifestation work that must eventually come. So both are very important and steps along the way in this healing journey. They are not in opposition to each other. They complement each other. They are part of a process. They're part of a process. They are not the same thing. They do not lead to the same outcome. They complement each other because they are part of the process of healing. We don't do shadow work just so we can feel those feelings. We can feel them and then stay there and lock ourselves in those terrible, awful feelings. No, of course not. The reason we do shadow work is that so we can change our beliefs about ourselves. So we can create the story that we tell ourselves and create a new belief on a deep level that we are worthy, that we are loved, and that we deserve everything that we want in this life and that we can actually have it. Shadow work has a purpose, right? The ultimate outcome is so that you love yourself deeply and you can change beliefs in your life that are holding you back from becoming all that you need and want to be in this life. So staying in shadow work is not what we want to do either, right? We want to move through it. We want to grow and become somebody new through the work of shadow work so that we can now manifest everything that it is that we want and put our attention on the new version of ourselves and the new belief that is going to create the new story that will take us toward the future self we want. So I hope this video has been helpful, and if it has, please consider subscribing, giving it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.